When I think of pasta, I think of pasta carbonara. It's hearty, it's salty, it's like breakfast and pasta made a baby, and it's quite possibly the most delicious thing in the world. Am I over-exaggerating? I don't think so. Angel hair pasta, eggs, hard Pecorino Romano cheese, cured pork, and pepper, lots of it. Simple ingredients, simple steps make something altogether exceptional. Trust me, it's near the top of the list for pastas, at least in my own humble opinion, and it's really, really easy to make. So stick around. In this episode of A Taste of Travel, I will be sharing with you my favorite traditional, delicious pasta carbonara recipe, and it'll hardly take you any time at all. What's up, everybody? I'm Alex, aka Alex the Vagabond, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of A Taste of Travel, my new travel-inspired cooking show where we taste delicious dishes from around the world and cook them in the comfort of our own homes. Today is a special episode because this is my favorite pasta recipe. Now, there are many delicious types of pastas. There are many delicious pasta sauces, but few can compare to the simplicity and beauty of a well-done traditional pasta carbonara. This dish is actually quite mysterious as well. If we're talking about the origins of carbonara, not too much is known, and there are actually quite a few different theories, all of them fascinating, as to how this dish was first prepared. We'll find out more about those later on in the video, but before we get started, I just want to double check that you are subscribed to my channel with notifications enabled, aka that little bell button. Click it. I'll wait. Oh, cool, great. You're subscribed? Good. Moving on. Also, if you're enjoying this video, this series, my channel, or this recipe, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down in the comment section. Okay, here we go. Welcome to A Taste of Travel. Roma, the eternal city, has long been a focal point for culture and cuisine in Europe and the Mediterranean. Ever since Rome was the capital of the Roman Empire, which reigned for thousands of years and connected the entire Mediterranean regions of North Africa all the way up to modern-day England, the Roman Empire brought together different cuisines and cultures and has always been a melting pot. The most commonly accepted origin story for carbonara comes from the word carbonara, which means charcoal, derived from the word carbonai, coal miners, who brought the dish with them down from the mountains. Whether the name comes from the generous use of pepper, which could resemble charcoal or coal coming off of a miner's hands or face after a long day work, nobody really knows. The ingredients are very simple and widely available in the Lazio region and could be gathered from a farmhouse without need for refrigeration. Plus, they could all be cooked easily over a wood fire in one pot. I have had a long love affair with pasta carbonara, stretching back to my childhood. My father and my mother fell in love in Europe in the 70s and visited Italy many times. My mom speaks Italian, and as a flight attendant, she would always be flying in and out of Rome. And my dad went and visited her there. They found a restaurant that specialized in pasta carbonara named Trattoria Gigi, and my dad spent years trying to recreate that recipe. It is very simple, and yet there is an art to doing it. So I'm gonna show you how to prepare a traditional pasta carbonara, and trust me, I think you're really gonna like it. There has been quite a lot of drama with the recipe for pasta carbonara, and the main question is to cream or not to cream. Do you add cream to get that creamy sauce? The reality is no, you don't add cream. You make that creamy texture using just eggs and Pecorino Romano cheese. Pecorino Romano is an ancient cheese from the Lazio region of Italy, and it's a sheep's milk cheese. It's been around since Roman times. It's a cured cheese. It's a hard cheese. It's salty. It's delicious. And when it's grated and mixed with eggs, it creates that creamy texture that pasta carbonara is so recognized for. All you need are eggs, guanciale, cured pork jaw, Pecorino Romano cheese, spaghetti, and pepper. If you don't have guanciale, it's fine. You can use pancetta as a substitute, but if you can find guanciale, then you should definitely use that instead. Also, do not use Parmesan cheese in this recipe. You need to use Pecorino Romano cheese to really get that traditional carbonara flavor. All right, let's get this party started. First things first, you're gonna want to get your frying pan, preferably non-stick, because this sauce is made from eggs. So if you're using like a cast iron or something, a lot of the sauce is gonna stick to the bottom of the pan. You don't want that. So use a non-stick pan, a large one. You're gonna need a pot in which you boil 1 quart of water, which is 4 cups. Add salt before you add your pasta. The first thing that you need to get started on is browning the guanciale or your pancetta. Brown that in the pan. Do not add olive oil to the pan because the fat from the pork is going to naturally be in there, and it'll essentially serve the same purpose as the olive oil, but it's just a much tastier substance. Make sure that you don't forget about this while you're doing the other steps and burn it. That is a big no-no. Okay, so we've browned our guanciale, we've removed that from the heat, and we're leaving the fat in the pan because that's where all that great flavor is. Next up, we're gonna prep the sauce. So what we're gonna do is we are going to crack 4 eggs, but use 3 yolks. 1 full egg, 3 yolks. So strain away the egg whites on those extra 3 eggs. And you can keep the egg whites and use it in an omelet or something the next day. Put those into a mixing bowl. Next thing, you need to grate your Pecorino Romano cheese. Grate it finely, okay? Don't use the thick one, use the finest grate that you can get. While you're preparing the sauce, begin to bring your pot of salted water to a boil. Remember, we're using 1 quart or 4 cups of water with a nice healthy pinch of salt. We've got our salted water boiling, we've browned our guanciale and removed that from the heat. Now we're gonna mix the pecorino cheese, which has been grated finely, with the eggs. So take your cheese, add it in there, and do it a little bit at a time because you need to kind of whip it. Don't just dump it all in. You kind of just need to do it a little bit at a time because that's gonna help maintain a smoother consistency. So, add a bit more in there. Remember to leave a little bit for garnishing at the end. You're gonna add a little bit more of the leftover cheese there. Cool. So we've got our browned guanciale waiting, and we have mixed together the pecorino cheese and the eggs. And now we're just waiting for the water to boil. But while we're waiting, I figured I could share just a couple of my favorite memories from Rome. I've been to Rome 2 or 3 times in my life. Once as a little kid with my mom, and she kind of took me around and showed me her favorite stomping grounds. Back in the day, she was a flight attendant for Pan Am in the 1970s, and because she spoke Italian, she was flying from New York to Rome very, very often. So she kind of built this whole life over there. And it was really fun when I was a kid, getting that experience to travel with my mom and see some of her favorite places. I remember I learned a little bit of Italian, and it was like, vorrei un gelato stracciatella con panna. That was like, I want chocolate chip ice cream, please. That has stuck with me. I think it's because I'm secretly just an ice cream fanatic. I actually had the pleasure of eating at Trattoria Gigi, and I can attest the pasta carbonara there is absolutely spectacular. But even if we can't travel to Rome for a while, we can still make this delicious dish at home, and it's really, really easy. And now we're just waiting for the water to boil, after which we will add our spaghetti, and we will allow that to cook for about 7 or 8 minutes until it's al dente. Then we'll drain it. We'll add the spaghetti to the frying pan that still has some of the fat in there. So coming up is the crucial moment in pasta carbonara. You have the guanciale and the spaghetti back in the frying pan on high heat. Once it starts to sizzle, turn the heat off. Add in your egg and pecorino, mix that into the pasta and the guanciale. Now, this is the important moment because it's all about consistency. You wanna have that creamy consistency, but you don't want it to be too fluid or too liquidy. This is where that mixing element really comes into play, but you don't have a lot of time to do it, and that's because that egg is cooking with the residual heat from the pan. When you're plating, you wanna use your ladle and a fork, twisting the fork and using the ladle to help bring that pasta up to create like a pasta nest. And that is gonna help you plate cleanly. But let's not forget the most important ingredient, a healthy serving of freshly cracked pepper, and garnish with the leftover Pecorino Romano cheese. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. Pasta alla carbonara, homemade, traditional recipe. It looks and smells absolutely incredible. But the real test is, does it pass Carrie's carbonara test? Carrie loves carbonara, and I essentially just make this to make you happy, honey. Can you come here, please?
I'm loving this new series.
Yeah?
I get to eat all of my favorite things. I'm excited about this. Let's have a little test. Oh my gosh, wait, I love it.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Does it pass?
Yes, absolutely.
Woo! Good. I want one. 1 second. I'm gonna plate myself here.
Carbonara is definitely my favorite pasta out there. I love the mix of pepper with cheese, the egg, which is so unexpected with the pasta, but it's just perfect with it. So whenever I'm craving pasta, I'm normally just craving carbonara.
You know, it's incredible. You get this delicate, salty flavor in this dish, and that's what I love so much about it. And you're actually not adding any salt. It's just the salt that's already in the pecorino and in the cured pork. But it's decadent, but it's damn delicious. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. A super simple yet delicious pasta carbonara, traditional recipe, right in the comfort of your own kitchen. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of A Taste of Travel. If you do make this recipe, please tag me in your Instagram stories at Alex the Vagabond, and I will happily reshare it because it gives me so much pleasure to see all of you amazing people out there making this recipe and bringing a taste of travel into your own kitchens. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications enabled, and I will see you in the next episode. Enjoy.